know, I never, ever thought I was gonna believe in God. Never, ever. But it's crazy how life works. Nothing ever is what you think it is. You always get thrown for a loop. You see, I was, my biological mother had me. I was a 12-pound baby. I was the fattest baby born that year. Still the fattest baby in the world. And, you know, my biological mother and my father split, and I lived with my father. Didn't really have a relationship when I was really young with my biological mother. I had my stepmother, the OG Hickson. Yo, nobody messing with her, bro. Nobody messing with her, bro. If you remember her from the Core League, she was a wild one. She was crazy. She'll mess somebody up. Anyways, so she raised me. But growing up, we were never ever taught about God. In Miami, there might be a couple churches. Growing up, I thought church people were weird. Because my father had been abused when he was a kid by his stepmom. His mom died when he was just a little baby with brain cancer. And every time someone asked him, what happened to your mother? What happened to your mother? And then he'd be like, she's dead. Jesus took him. That's what everyone told him. Jesus took your mommy, honey. Jesus took your mommy. Imagine being a little baby boy and somebody just telling you that this guy who loves you so much killed your mother, took her, and now you have this new mother who abuses you. Yo, psychologically, how would you take that? So we were raised believing there was no God, because no God would let a father or let some kid go through the abuse that, you know, these children go through. So we were raised that way. I believed in nothing. Didn't believe in science, technology, anything. I just believed, just live. That's it. When you die, you die. I used to sit at the poker table, and whenever I was losing, my buddy Brakowski knew it was coming. He'd be like, oh, great, he's about to start cussing God now. He's gonna start cussing God. Sure as hell, every time I would say, F God, F God. God is effing me in my mouth with his nuts in my face. I would start winning. Every single time. It was like my bag of tricks I would pull out. But it was obnoxious, so I knew like I had to only do it on special occasions. But time goes on. 18. As soon as I graduated high school, I was arrested with crack cocaine. It wasn't even me. It was a little bag this big. That big. Piquito. Ni minuto. Piquito. That bad. We sent Black Willie over the gate by Southridge. He jumped. They watched us. Black Willie jumped back in. We got pulled over. Guns drawn to our head. Boom. Locked up. Felon. Tampering with evidence. Possession of cocaine. Couldn't get a job. My life was freaking typically just ruined at 18. It was hard. So all I knew what to do was sell weed, sell drugs. So I started selling weed. After that, after I got off of Here's Help or whatever, because of my bag. Ah! Get my sound! Mama told me long ago, there's a calm before the storm. I know it's been coming for some time. That's my jam. But anyways, happens is I get arrested at 23, take the charge of 20 pounds of marijuana. The love of my life, Erin, ain't gonna say her last name. I wasn't mentally right. We broke up. I then got robbed and put in a coma or hospital for 3 months. Not a coma. Let me clear that up. I was in a hospital for 3 months. My brain was mashed. I lost my memory, sense of taste, sense of bud, hearing, everything. And it was hard because losing your memory, yo, that's crazy. Then the doctors tell my mom that I wasn't gonna be normal again. They tell my parents that I'm basically gonna be retarded, which I kinda am, but I'm kinda normal now. Anyways, had that happen. Time goes on, just start abusing prescription pills at 27. I was out with my redneck buddies because I found 2 white people that lived here, and they had like swamp buggies and stuff. You know, 4-wheelers. White people, man. And we went out, and I popped these 10 Percocets, like all at once, and downed it with some whiskey. And halfway through the day, I was knocked out. I was out cold. I wouldn't call it an overdose, but I overdosed something. And I just remember them trying to put me in ice. And then that night was what happened to change my life. I had this dream. I was in a black field, didn't have a body. I'm floating. It's steamy, creepy. But off in the distance, I see this light. So I float towards this light a lot like a snake would slither. And it's crazy because I still remember this clear as hell to this day as I did 10 years ago. And I slither towards this light, and as I get closer, I see it's not a light but a campfire. And I keep approaching this campfire. And as I get closer, I see that there's someone behind this campfire. And she has blonde hair, she's looking down, she's holding a book. And I stop right before this campfire, and I'm just staring at this thing, which I believe was an angel with short blonde hair. The white dress is illuminating the entire black field. Electrical rays as if you're at the Museum of Science, and that electricity is going everywhere, just completely killing the darkness. And the person, the angel, the thing, the beautiful woman, slowly looks up at me. And she made eye contact. And when she made eye contact, it's something you've never felt in a dream. It was comfort, it was love, it was passion. It's something you can't explain. A lot like love. You can't explain love. There's a lot of things you can't explain in this world. And I was convinced I saw an angel. So the next day I woke up, I was on the couch, they put me in my living room, and I was covered in piss. I might have like slipped out of dookie. And all I could think about is this dream. So I wash myself, I get out the bathroom, I get in my car, I drive to my father's house because I want to share this dream with him, because I know he doesn't believe in God, but I'm convinced I saw an angel. So I get up and I get over there, and he's filleting fish in the kitchen. I'll never forget it. And I'm trying to tell him this dream, and it's like he wasn't listening to me. Not that he didn't want to listen to me, it's just I'm a blabber. And just to get his attention, to get a rise out of him, I said, you know what, Dad? I think I'm going to give this church thing a try. And then he stopped, and then he looked up. He said, you go waste your time with that. So I did. I went to this place that I heard about that was kind of hip, kind of cool. Calvary Chapel. There was a guy named Pastor Pedro who was supposedly hip. It's my first time ever going to a church. And if you ain't been to church these days, boy, you better be prepared to be amazed. Because it's not the traditional black preacher yelling, and it's not the smoke in the air, waving that scent of whatever smoke. It's hip-hop, it's rock stars, skinny jeans. People cut their earlobes off and replace them with circles. Skinny jeans, I mentioned that. People are singing and dancing, spinning around in circles. They're lifting each other in the air. There's strobe lights. It's a freaking concert. And I walked in, and I said, what the hell is this? Because I had never seen this. It was like I was on a hidden camera TV show. People are twirling, and the strobe light keeps landing on my face. I'm like, yo, I am being punked. Where is Ashton Kutcher? This is unbelievable. This is not church. This is ridiculous. But it was just the plan. It was God's plan, or whatever runs this universe. I ended up staying, and it wasn't Pastor Pedro who was a speaker. It was a guy named Carl Lentz. Now, Carl Lentz is out of New York. He happened to come and do a guest speaking thing this time. And it blew me away because the dude was just like me. He was cool, he was hip, he was freaking real. He did this thing with this guy with no arms and no legs. He did a video with him, and just how much this guy with no arms and no legs appreciates life, and then what are we complaining about so much? It was totally freaking cool. Totally cool. As I'm walking out the doors, of that hotel, of that freaking, what do they call that thing? Church. As I'm walking out, behind the desk, selling his book, was the same damn girl from my dream. The same short blonde hair, same way looking down, and beautiful as an angel. It shocked me. I said, what the I then approach her and try to talk to her, but I can't. It's like my tongue was hardened and I come off like a retarded little kid who can't speak. It was embarrassing. Embarrassing. But the nerves in my stomach have never been so rattled before like it was that day. It was the most bizarre thing ever. So now I'm like, I have to see what the hell's going on in my life. I need to see why this has happened to me. So I go back every single week on Wednesday, on Saturday, and Sunday just to see this girl. And not only that, but I'm shaving weight. I stopped drinking. I cut my friends off. I stopped going to the bars. I stopped buying drugs. I was hell-bent on finding out why I had a dream of this girl. And I was convinced I was supposed to marry this girl because she was beautiful. So each week I go back. Every time I try to talk to her, I can't speak. The nerves in my stomach are so embarrassingly rattly that I stutter. I go to throw up. It was crazy. Never in my life have I experienced this. Never. I go for about 2 weeks straight. I still can't speak. 3 weeks straight, can't speak. I track her down on Facebook. Send her a beautiful message. It wasn't a beautiful message. It was about 47 paragraphs. Stalker style. And I had to try to get her attention. I'm like, hey, what's up? You're hot, I'm hot. Let's go to Applebee's 2 for 1. Let's go. That don't work with church girls. I keep on shaving weight. I was the sexiest I ever was. After about a month and a half, now I was really noticed I was going to church with my friends. I was never there for the church or the message. I was there to find out why I had a dream about this girl. I ain't believe in God. I was a felon, a drug addict, a drug dealer, basically a piece of shit. Never had a paycheck. What was life about? It was depressing. And after a while, my friends found out I was going to church. And they started ripping on me. Brutal, brutal comments. Why are you going to church? You're a piece of shit. You're a drug dealer. You're a felon. God don't want you. You don't even believe in God. What's wrong with you? Why you don't even, why you making this up? Just everything, with just daggers. So that night, I was ready to give up. I grabbed my phone and I put it to my heart. And I said, okay, God, if there is a God, if you are real, show me someone cares about me. Show me someone loves me. And that second, in my dark room, my phone vibrated. And it was a Facebook message from that girl who I had a dream about, who I was convinced was supposed to be my wife. She said, hey, how are you? And at that second of my life, my faith, my belief changed 1 billion% to where I grabbed that phone and I threw it across my room. And I dropped down to a knee in my room and I said, oh my God, you're real. Oh my God, you're real. Time goes on, I have no idea how long I repeated that. I began to stand up and I went back in my bed stiff as a board because I knew I had just met God. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe in I don't believe things happen by accident. I don't believe you randomly walk across a lotto ticket that's worth $1 billion. I believe you are predestined and you were chosen for a reason, and you've gone through everything that you've gone through for a reason. And it's only until you finally reach that point in your life to where you're like, you know what? It's time to change that bottom line. Never mind.